Jodi Burnett. How's it going today?
It's going. It's a great school district. It's loud, it's chaotic. The smaller the child, the louder the parent, so it's a crazy day.
That's a good, I never thought of it.
When you go to a high school tournament, it's totally not as loud, but here, you can't even function. You can't, it's so loud.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're not like most moms. You've had a ton of athletic success where you have moms who maybe weren't athletic, right? And they have kids, okay? I'm not saying every mom isn't like you,
sure.
But most, don't come from a competitive background like you, okay? You did like a kind of an East Coast, I don't know, I'd like to call it an upper class sport in field hockey, right?
Sure, yeah.
Very different clientele than wrestling. Would you agree with that?
Very much so.
It's like kind of like the lacrosse clientele.
Absolutely.
Right?
I totally agree.
So we're looking at like kind of a white collar sport versus a blue collar sport. What have you noticed about it? You played at the highest level in Division I field hockey at Kent State. Now as a parent, what's it like seeing wrestling compared to field hockey?
It's way different. I lived and breathed field hockey. That's how I knew that I was going to go to college, got the scholarship. But I attested everything that I know from sports, getting to college, getting an education, my friends, my value system, and I thought that was amazing until I was introduced to wrestling and being part of that family. What these children and what these families learn from this sport is incredible. The off-the-mat success that these kids can have because of the discipline on the sport, I've never been a part of anything else like it.
You look at, Gray's had some success. He's won some national tournaments. He took a loss today, but he's won the OAC grade school state championships only once.
Right.
I think that says a lot about this tournament and the competition level. But you look at Gray's success, you look at his dad's success, you look at your success. What do you guys like? What do you really want Gray to get out of it? We know he's really good at wrestling, but what do you want him to take from the sport of wrestling? Where do you want him to go with that?
I really want him to understand success, meaning that things may not go your way, but you could still have winnable situations, and wrestling can really bring that to these children. Scott and I are very hard on Gray, not because we're mean, it's just because we don't know any other way. Scott's very competitive, I'm very competitive. We're very black and white with him. It helps him with his structure, with his routine, which are things that are going to help him later on in life. Dealing with a loss, you're going to have a bad day at work and you're going to have to come back from it. So we just want him to be able to be structured and have the discipline that's going to help him in the future.
So, obviously today he takes a loss. What do you say to him after that?
Well, I usually don't say much. Gray is the worst for himself. He will be harder on himself than anyone else. So I don't say much. I kind of stay to the side when he's ready to talk. I communicate with him, but the biggest thing that he learns out of it and that we communicate with him is the bigger picture. Like, he got to state. By not winning districts, he's not going to get the seed that we would prefer, but he's going to state, and that's the big picture. He's already lost to this kid 2 years ago, and then at that state tournament, he placed higher than him at the state tournament. So, you have to kind of think that big picture. Wrestling is a marathon. Yeah, great. Gray's had a lot of success as a youth wrestler, but when he gets to college or even high school, does that matter? It matters for the stepping stones, but are people really going to remember what he did when he was 6 years old? It's all part of the process. Next stepping stone, next step on the podium to get to the success that he wants to be of a high school state champ, national champ, world champ, Olympic champ. We say it every day in practice, and that's his goal.
So, I look at it, he had the dirty flow scramble. Remember that thing went viral? It's been watched millions of times. You realize it, right?
Like when it goes on, I want to play the song like. It's a funny. It's him and Carter. They're great. That was awesome.
Okay, so I always tell everybody the athleticism comes from you. Everybody else says it comes from his dad, but I don't think people know. They don't know, but you've done this. You've done your sport at the highest level. It kind of becomes a job.
Right.
Like when team's got to win and your coach recruits you for something.
Right.
Are you able to impart any of that onto any of the wrestlers for BTW, your kids? Do people get it at the next level? It's more of a business-oriented thing, and you got to produce, you got to win. Can you impart any of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people say it all the time that wrestling is not a sport, it's a lifestyle. We call it the process, we call it the grind, we call it the buy-in. Because in order to be successful at this sport, that's what you have to do. You have to be structured, you have to know what you're eating, you have to manage your time. Even at a tournament, Gray understands how to manage his time. He knows that he's got to go to work, and it's his job. And he has plenty of time to play, but when we're here, he's focused.
All right, if there's one thing you want people to know about, your husband, he's a little bit of a goofy guy. We're friends.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thanks, Ed Miller, for my husband.
Yeah, but what about, being married to a wrestler is so different? That's what he does full time. It's a full-time job as a 38-year-old man. That's all he does for a living. Well, I shouldn't say that's all he does. But
he coaches. That's all he does.
what he does, right? What's it like being married to like a wrestling fanatic?
There are good days and there are bad days. And part of being married to it is you got to buy in, just like the athlete. You need to be all in. You either need to be in it or not. So for us, it's important that I volunteer with everything, that I'm involved with everything, so I know what's going on, because that's how we spend time together. And that's how my family spends time together. And it's a lifestyle for us. And my daughter, she doesn't wrestle. She's not going to wrestle. But she has all of her friends through here. So we've just, in order for us to be successful in our marriage and being married to a full-time coach, you just got to buy in. You got to be part of the process.
The grind.
Involved.
The grind.
The grind. Hashtag the grind.
All right. You got anything else for me, Loom Dog? It's a nickname. I brought that one out after it's been a decade, maybe, but maybe more, 15 years.
You need to trademark it. No, I don't have much. I mean, it's wrestling is hard, man. You can have the best day of your life and then the worst day of your life, just like that. And you just got to understand the big picture, and especially at this age group, they're little. And we get crazy. Sometimes I get crazy. Sometimes my husband gets crazy.
You think?
I know. But you have to back it up, and then you get caught in the moment. But you have to understand that it is bigger picture, and it is a marathon. The stuff that we're going to get out of it in the long run for him, of the success he'll have in high school, and then everything that he's going to be able to do in college off the mat because of all the discipline and hard work and sacrifice he's learned from the sport. You just got to keep thinking big picture, big picture.
Last thing, I'm going to let you go then. You made the spreadsheet, Scott didn't. What's that mean? You made the spreadsheet to be interviewed, and Scott didn't. What's that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. I think that's a testament, though, to what I'm saying. Like, be involved.
Yeah, you're pretty involved.
Be involved.
Yeah.
I know the people. I know I helped with weigh-ins last night. You got to be involved. I think that's just why. And people have a good relationship with me. I think most people like me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, but you just be involved. And I don't know, maybe it was Gray's name drop that he did at the last interview, or your name dropped to me, that maybe that was it.
Thanks for the time. Good luck today.
Thanks, son.